Hi guys, this is David Negrin, host of the Script Podcast and executive director of the NYC Screenwriters Collective. I'm excited to announce that we've created a Patreon campaign for the Script. Patreon is like a Kickstarter, but it allows you to give ongoing pledges every month and receive ongoing rewards. Of course, the Script Podcast will continue to be free, but we're just asking for a little help. We release 4 or 5 podcasts a month, but we'd like to do more. We'd also like to improve our audio quality and release video podcasts with rich content. So here's how you can help. Become a patron of the Script Podcast and gain access to our VIP activity feed with premium content. There, you'll be able to communicate privately with myself and my co-hosts after every podcast. You can get a packet of original screenwriting guides written exclusively for members of the NYC Screenwriters Collective. You can receive our monthly tracking board preview podcast for Hollywood insider updates on big script sales and the hottest spec screenplays to hit the market. You can get access to full on-demand video of NYC Screenwriters Collective events, lectures, and panel discussions. At the highest patron levels, you can even request the film or TV series we analyze and come on the script yourself to analyze it. So please, check out all our rewards, join our inner circle. Become a patron of the Script Podcast at patreon.com/thescript.
Summer is full of firsts. First jobs.
Ready to meet your other campers?
First crushes.
Hi. Hi.
And the first day of camp.
Some of you were campers last year, but now you're all 16 or 17 years old. These are some things that will not happen here this summer. No relations between campers and counselors. This includes dry humping, necking, wet humping, finger banging, wheelbarrowing, saltwater tapping. You were supposed to be here a week ago.
Whatever. Smells weird. Who beefed?
This is The Script, the official podcast of the NYC Screenwriters Collective. I'm David Negrin, and with me tonight to analyze the new Netflix series, Reboot, Reimagination, Fever Dream of Wet, Hot American Summer are Christina Leith Malin and Melissa Pagnotta once again. Wow, how do we handle this podcast?
First of all, it's way too early. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing it in the morning, first of all, which already makes
Good
it
evening,
odd.
everyone.
But this series is like, you know, the movie is like, is
out there.
is just abstract.
Very abstract.
There's so many abstract things to it. And now the reboot or reimagination of the series also has all these abstract things. I mean, I think we should just talk about it and see what happens.
Sure.
We'll do like the I Heart Huckabees, like the script episode to figure out
We'll be
what
abstract.
went wrong.
But you have experts, though. You have one expert for wet hot, one expert for meatballs, and both of your experts haven't seen the other film.
That's so funny. Yeah, so I've seen... So if you're talking about the 80s movies, the 80s camp movies that the original Wet Hot American Summer film was based on, like the Meatballs 1 through 3. Even there's homage to Revenge of the Nerds a lot.
A little Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger. So Christina and I have that experience. Melissa's not seen those movies, but Melissa's seen the Wet Hot American Summer movie and the first couple episodes of the series. I've seen the movie and first couple episodes of the series, and Christina just jumped to episode 8.
I'm an idiot. Just call it. Thanks.
Just jumped to episode 8 to be
about
like,
my idiocracy. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna break open this podcast, spoil everything. Did you eventually go back?
I'm mementoing this shit, so just let me do it.
She watched the series in reverse.
Irreversible, exactly.
So, wait, you eventually went back and saw episode 1?
I did 8-1 is my sequence of choice. Now I'm on 2.
8-1.
8-1.
And now it all makes sense. But yeah, if you start with 8, which you can definitely start with 8, if you have very good drugs and you have a really good relationship with a drug dealer that you trust, start with 8. Start with 8. It will be actually quite entertaining if you start with 8. Because then you'll be like, what? That's just a dude.
But you make an interesting point because this is, as a television series, there are serial elements to this show.
Absolutely.
But it is a comedy, right? It's just a straightforward half-hour comedy. Did you get through the whole episode 8 before you stopped?
No,
Did it stand on its
I finished
own?
the whole thing. And
Yeah, you
I
did.
Sat there
because
and I
it stood on its own.
You know
because
what it
there
was?
was some crazy shit happening,
Yeah,
but
a
it
lot
was
of crazy
still
shit.
standing.
But it
It
was
was an
good.
episodic format. The serial
let's say
stuff.
you saw 1 through 7 and then
Yeah.
8. And then I saw 8 first. We would both feel good about it. But you'd be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
And
all
I
the
would be
inside
like,
jokes.
I just saw a 70s Minto commercial on acid. It was, because a lot of things were just like super hyper.
But Christina,
They gave flashbacks.
that's the film itself too. I mean, when I watched the film again last night, I thought this thing it's not just a parody of the 80s camp movies. It's abstract.
Oh, yeah.
It has these surreal montages, like the one where they're on drugs, Melissa.
Yeah, I was just
Like
thinking
where
that.
they go into town for an hour
And then all this shit happens in an
and
hour.
they have a montage of like getting hooked on crack cocaine and heroin
They're
and coming back from it.
addicts, and then they come back totally
And they do
sober.
that again and again. They have they suspend reality, so it gets into surreal territory.
Absolutely.
And we didn't mention the artists yet. The writer-director is David Wain, and the co-writer is Michael Showalter, who also stars in the show. These guys, their sense of humor is a very special sense of humor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
They're buddies with Michael Ian Black and the old
This was like a comedy troupe of sorts that I'm not.
It is. Yeah, from what I read, they all started off in like a comedy troupe together called the
they
State,
were in
I
this.
think.
They were in the State. Yeah.
Yeah.
The State was in their mid '90s, and that show was on. I think it was on MTV.
Yeah.
But its sense of humor was always different. And I think it was silly. It was irreverent. I think one of the things that stuck out to me the most in Wet Hot American Summer, the film, was the conceit that the camp counselors are not taking care of the children at all. Like the children are like on their own. The opening image of the movie is the boys in the girls' cabins. Like they ring the bell. And the boys are all in like the girls' beds, like making out, and the morning bell rings, and all of a sudden, boys from all over the camp are crossing back to their cabins, and Janine Garofalo's having a cigarette, like, you guys should not be out of your cabins.
I really thought it was going to be
You're all in
masturbation when the
trouble.
sheets came up, though.
No, they're doing adult things,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, we totally forgot Friday 13th. That's the whole premise, is all about the counselors ignoring the kids and one dying, remember?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's very true.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an 80s thing, too. I guess camp got invented in America in the 80s.
Sure did.
Or maybe it got invented in the 60s and 70s, and the movies came in the 80s. So, one of the
I feel like, can I just say one thing really quick? I feel like their Boy Scouts, there was camp early on. It just got a lot seedier and sexier and smarmy in the 70s. And into the 80s.
Thanks to free love in the 60s movement, is that it? Yeah.
Exactly.
No, because I remember, that's the other poll we should do. Melissa, Christina, did either of you go to summer camp?
Yep.
No.
I went to Meatballs. Y camp.
Yeah, you went to Y camp. It was a sleepaway or day camp?
Sleepaway. I did both, but sleepaway rocked my world and changed my life.
Exactly, me too. I went to sleepaway camp in New Hampshire.
Oh,
changed
cool.
my life. Because you're on your own at a young age, and shit
Figuring
happens.
out. Yep.
Yeah, you gotta like shower on your own. You gotta try to kiss a girl on your own. Like it's this.
Take a walk through the woods on your own.
Oh yeah, you want to expand on that?
Oh, I totally was.
Yeah, my first kiss was at my tennis camp. I'm not going to name drop on the podcast, but for real. Yeah, and it was like earth shattering.
You know who you are. He's not going to name
Yeah,
drop.
right?
You know
She's
who
out
you
there.
are.
She was the best tennis player at the camp.
Wow. Okay, this is going somewhere else.
Anyway, but so camp actually in America is an experience, and so the camp movies became a genre.
Yep.
But they're a great iteration of the coming of age story that maybe other countries don't have. Maybe other cultures don't have camp this way.
Huh.
That is a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because it is profound to your adolescence. Like, they even have the scene with the girl who she goes into the ladies' room and comes out a woman. Just put it like that.
That was another piece of surreal genius in it was like episode 2 where they find, because the whole TV series you're wondering how are they going to bring back all these characters, and in the pilot they bring back at least 2/3 of them. They just show up, right? But then where's the rest of them? Because they're all coming. And the girl has her period and turns into the girl that we know from the original movie. She was in the original movie, and they just and they decided to grow her up in a moment.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this thing's all over the place.
See, that's the insight that you would have caught because you've seen the movie.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Did you guys notice in the movie and in the show the pink lipstick thing?
Yes.
I did, but I didn't know. I don't know what the correlation with the movie is.
Same.
It's so. A friend of mine said that this 80s pink lipstick that was like slightly sparkly, slightly translucent, was like a huge thing in the 80s.
Well, it's bigger than the lipstick. I think that's kind of tapping into the Lisa Frank, Bengals, that whole feel where everything Valley Girl.
But it was it was before you chose your own color. It was okay for every girl to be wearing it.
Huh.
Oh yeah, Chocolate Girls wore that bright pink too. Oh sure.
Yeah.
Yep. It was across the board. Everything was unicorns and teddy bears with sparkles. Lisa Frank. I think she made a comeback too, or her stickers.
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, that's why stickers. The ultra pink lipstick and everything was like teddy bears and unicorns.
Very bright colors. Yeah.
Butterflies.
Yeah. Very feminine. Yeah.
So then, let's just go around and talk about some of your, Melissa, your favorite sort of like wet, hot.
Oh gosh. Like element?
Element that they rebooted or reimagined.
Yeah.
Like what was awesome?
What I love about the movie was its surrealism and its like absurdist humor, and the fact that they don't have to explain what's going on. It's just accepted and they move on. And I feel like that's kind of rooted in improv a bit. But I love that aspect of the film, and they did bring it in a little bit into the pilot. It more so came through at the end, I think, because as a pilot you have to be much more structured. So I was kind of missing the surrealism.
The pilot was the weakest. I thought I watched 3 episodes, and now I want to watch 4. Episode 2 and 3 were fantastic.
I did not watch any, so do not spoil anything.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, I just watched the pilot. Yeah, so the pilot itself, I wanted more surrealism. Yeah, but
yeah.
But it came in at the end. Yeah.
They did it. They had to sort of reintroduce everybody.
Yeah, and what I didn't realize at first was that it's the first day of camp, so the dynamic and the closeness that we have with the characters in the movie is not there yet in the pilot. They kind of feel a little detached, but then it's because it's the first day. So yeah,
which is interesting. Interesting choice. To so ambitious to say, all right, we're gonna take a movie that took place on the last day of camp. It's also the inside joke, and then 15 years later, with the actors aged, we're gonna do the first day of camp.
Yeah. Start over.
And several of the actors are not in great shape these days, and the joke is just that much deeper.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah.
They got the one guy who's a little bit overweight. He's like the karate instructor, so they're using like that as an inside joke as well. Mm-hmm. But then also, I think they mean for the series to be a single day also.
I couldn't tell. Yeah, it seems like it is.
First day of camp is the subtitle to
It
the
is
series.
It's definitely first day. Because by the time you get to 8, it's the end of the day.
That's wow. Okay, I didn't realize that.
So it's unbelievable. So that surrealism has to come in again at some point because
I'm so excited.
the time lapse is just interesting. I think.
Yeah.
I love that Melissa, if you didn't get to episode 2, you didn't say they rebooted. They didn't reboot. They gave backstory to the Chris Maloney character.
Awesome.
They gave an awesome backstory to.
Who's the chef? Gene, right? With the
he's the Gene.
That's
right,
Gene.
right.
Okay, yeah.
They start building out Amy Poehler and Bradley Cooper's.
Oh, great. Okay.
Were they both in the movie though?
Yes. Everybody was in the movie.
There's a few
all
guest
the big stars were
appearances,
in the movie. Yeah. Let's see who else.
Jason Schwartzman was in the. If we're talking guest appearances,
Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks.
They start with her in 2, and her
in
backstory because she went to J school.
She's not. They reveal that she isn't actually like a counselor, and she's a 24-year-old journalist at like
God, that's
a Teen Beat magazine. And she's gonna infiltrate a camp to talk about what's really going on with the kids today.
It's rock and roll world. Thank you very much. And it can't
rock
be just
and
about rock
roll
and world. It has to be about the world.
They're much deeper. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did anyone see the irony there that Elizabeth Banks, she's beautiful, but she looks like she's in her 30s. She's playing someone that's 24, and she's going undercover someone 16.
Yeah. I mean, the entire thing, the age.
It's so
suspension of disbelief is there,
absolutely,
and then we're getting all these great cameos. Like Jordan Peele showed up in episode 2.
I can't wait.
The Barry Gordy of rock and roll world.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Oh my God.
It was, and he made all the jokes about. Somebody said to him, he's the only black guy in the whole rock and roll world room. And somebody suggests, hey, this Grandmaster Flash guy, maybe we should check him out. He's like, who cares? He's a DJ. He's going nowhere.
That was really good.
So that was like, I don't know.
Yeah, they have a lot of inside jokes like that.
So much inside joke. I mean, I think the thing that succeeds in Wet Hot American Summer, the movie, and in the show in the later episodes is the tempo of the comedy.
Yeah.
They really keep it going. They make these inside jokes and then they don't harp on it. They keep moving, they keep moving, they keep moving. And that just shows like a love of comedy. And I think that comes out of, Showalter and Wain. I think that's their old mentality with the state. I watched old episodes of the state. Some of it was funny, some of it wasn't. But there was like a lot of love for the silliness, like a love for the joke, the inside joke, and the goofiness, and I think that's brought forward to the new series. And I think anyone who watches this Netflix series, it's out of control.
Yeah,
the shit that's going on is just out of control.
Yeah, they have so much freedom, especially on Netflix. And you can tell they almost love it too, because these huge stars wouldn't have come back if they didn't love it when they worked on it previously. So
Ant-Man's already landed. He's like in superstar publicity mode.
Yes.
Red was great. His entrance on the motorcycle.
Yes.
He jumped off his motorcycle. His entrance is like a jump off, right?
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
The hoo-ha.
Genius. I don't know. Christina, from your episode, the pilot. What did you make of the pilot?
8, right? No.
8 to 1. No.
Okay,
let's stick with number 1.
My favorite moment in the pilot was it was I think of it as a montage in the sense that it's kind of a mashup of an homage to Meatballs, in that Rudy and Trip, which were Bill Murray and I think his name was Christopher. I have it up here. Chris Makepeace. that play the little boy and the lead counselor, which are Coop and I think Aaron in the current piece. But if there's two sets of homages that I love. The one where he kind of gives him the pep talk to go and challenge his fears. Mm-hmm. And then at one point when Rudy feels embarrassed and he starts the running. Do you guys, if you've seen Meatballs, there's a really special moment where they do a run through the woods. And they kind of chase each other, and without words, they become friends. And I love how this show made fun of it with that kind of run in the open space sequence. Because if you don't know what's going on, you're like, why the hell are they running in circles? But if you see Meatballs, you realize that whole run through the woods is a really special piece.
Oh, that's great.
And, and he conquered his fear of not having any friends at camp by doing the run in that movie.
That's so interesting because not having seen Meatballs, I thought that runaround was just part of their like very abstract kind of humor. The fact that they didn't have to cut down, they could let it go. Oh, okay, that's
super cool. Homage to Meatballs, which is really cute.
Awesome.
I wonder if every surreal odd moment is an homage to something we're just not getting because there's so many.
Yeah, why
they're
I'm even
pulling
talking.
from so many different wells. It's
I'll hit
genius.
you up again. The little chubby boy that says, it says here you guys have a radio station. If you remember, Bill Murray always did the morning radio. And another time when he befriended the little kid, he let the little kid host the radio show in the morning. And that was another Bond moment.
One of the summer camps I went to had a radio show. It was like the most important. It was the most awesome thing ever. It was just like the counselors were just. That's true. You Melissa, you can still be a counselor.
I could still fulfill this dream.
Do it.
You could be director of a summer camp.
Bam.
I'll get you some rainbow colored gear. I have tons of stuff.
Now let's talk about something. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about something that we brought up earlier. Was that camp in America in the 70s and 80s was sexually charged and alcohol filled and drug filled.
I don't know about the drug and alcohol. I think we say that and we've blown it up so much, but there's so many rules. And kids would get kicked off, and there's really fine.
All I know is that when I was in camp, I went to tennis camp, and
it's like
I went
camp, dirty.
I went to that camp in the late '80s, early '90s. It was still sexually charged, a little bit alcohol,
really?
But then the older counselors were always bitching about how there were new rules and everything was uptight. I was like, there's no rules, right? I can't believe you're calling these no rules. So I think it was worse. I started as a camper at like 13. I was a CIT up until 17. Yeah,
you
I
were
was and then I was a counselor when I was 17. So
that's where you see the fun stuff happen when you never got to be a counselor. So you got to see the meatball side, the kind of night hooch and makeout sessions. I never saw those.
Yeah, and the counselor party after the counselors left, after campers left. Last day of camp, campers leave.
Now
we do one big cleanup, and we roll the kegs in, and it's a damn shit show.
I'm jealous. Oh.
I'm sending in my resume right now to all these camps.
It's amazing. But I got the sense that it had been even more debaucherous.
Really?
Not just at my camp. I went to a couple of camps, but the tennis camp was the one I stayed at eventually. But I went to some other sleepaway camps, and I got the sense that it had just been in the 80s debaucherous. The way that 80s movies like Animal House depict college in the 80s being a lot more debaucherous before with the influence of the 60s and the 70s and before political correctness, before we started to protect our children, from drugs, alcohol, and sex. Actually, you could think about the Reagan 80s in a political perspective as bringing the conservative values to the forefront, protecting our children from sex and alcohol and drugs.
Oh, we're doing it. Yeah.
And then you bring HIV and AIDS in the 90s to scare people away from sex. All of a sudden, we're a prude country in the 90s. I think we're getting back there. these days.
I don't know. For me, camp, and another thing they got really right, again, this is the old school, the meatballs talking, is, and I don't know, David, if you had this, when I went in Michigan to Camp Algonquin, which was a Y camp, we had a rival camp on the other side of the lake.
Oh yeah, the rival camp, definitely.
And they would have like one or two events that were kind of co-events, and I think that happened too in Meatballs. There was so much about Meatballs that touched base on that homeless camp, the one that doesn't have all the new signs. They don't have zip lines, although zip lines weren't a thing back then. They don't have like the super elevated horseback riding and yachts. No, they have canoes. Because that's what they can afford. The sign is falling down because that's it. Your exotic class was wood shop or theater class.
No. Actually,
Care
you
packages.
make a great point because sleepaway camps were really there's a class distinction in sleepaway camps, and day camps, are at the cheapest level, right? I went to day camps also. It's and then if you can afford sleepaway camp, there are all these different levels, and then,
oh my God.
I mean, there's
and
fancier.
Such a system.
Yeah. And
my God.
at Camp Algonquin, you could swim and you could canoe, but if you wanted to do, I think they had water skis, you had to pay some odd $100 more. If you wanted to take horseback lessons, you could pay some odd dollars more. There was woodwork, there was riflery classes, there was arts and crafts, there was nature crafts. These were all the things.
Yeah.
Do you remember
one of my camps? I shot a gun.
What?
They had a rifle. I shot a fucking gun.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Do you think they do that in camp today? I mean, it's maybe down south.
It depends on the state. Michigan, you can still buy guns. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Wait, did you get care packages?
Yes, the care package. Yeah.
Your parents send you like gummy bears and
ton of candy. Yeah.
Or
terrible.
You had a little bit of money, so you could have. There was a general store where there was like a whole bunch of candies for like 10 or 20 cents. If you had $2 after dinner, you could go to the general store and buy candy.
So basically, we're just making Melissa feel terrible for her
but my childhood. Right, all those days I spent in a corner.
On camp. I think you need to go to camp.
I think you should just counselor camp.
I'm just going to have to counselor. I'll run my own camp. I'll start recruiting. There you go.
It's kind of special.
But these days, it's no joke. These days, it's no joke. The parents are the helicopter parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like
really?
they interview with the camp directors before they send their camps there. Their campers there because people are so. They're like petrified of the pedophiles and whatever, and like, are my kids safe away?
Oh my gosh!
I hadn't even thought of that.
There's a lot of that. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, I'm sure the '80s camp scene was a bastion of sex predators too. Mm-hmm. Who knows? I bet there's stories. I bet there's I bet there's documentaries there.
Shush it! I'm gonna remember it sweet and yummy. Don't shush it. I'm not.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the wet hot.
Let's talk wet hot. Let's talk wet hot.
Speaking of bastards,
I think that the TV series has it's a real challenge to take a movie and string it out into a bunch of episodes. But not here, because Wet Hot American Summer, the movie, was an ensemble film.
Yep.
Already has 12 main characters. Ton of plots in it. A series of plots. Some of them very short because the screenplay was written so kinetically and back and forth. There's a lot of little plots that start and finish and then they're gone. There's so much meat, and that's what makes a cult movie. Maybe we could talk about that. That's what makes a cult movie is density of mythology.
Wait, weren't we getting mad at another period for having too many different sets of plots?
Absolutely.
We got mad at another period. We got mad at another period for, in half an hour, introducing too many characters.
Well, we did that here,
though,
the movie, and this one did the same thing, if not more.
This pilot does suffer from the same problem. Absolutely.
Even though
Absolutely.
the world itself is so understandable and relatable, it might be easier to pull it in.
But Christina, you brought that point up, and you're
it's
the
a
one
really
who
good
hasn't
point.
seen the original film.
true,
And
this is
so, if the series was meant to be viewed, given the original, we know the mythology is already there for us.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
So you came into it happy to see them.
they're not
I'm playing
shallow.
catch up.
Yes, exactly.
The inside jokes are already there.
I didn't get the whole
The setups are there, and you're seeing
even-
punchlines that you didn't know were set up.
Yep.
Regardless of the movie, I think it's just a different style of comedy and types of characters. Like, if this wasn't Wet Hot American Summer, I would have wanted a lot more from the characters, wanted much deeper plots and goals for them. But if we had that, it wouldn't be Wet Hot American Summer. The characters in this show and the movie their main goal is to just hook up with the hot chick or the hot guy.
But those are those are great goals.
Here.
Those are solid, dramatic goals. No,
Really?
in terms of storytelling,
Yeah.
those are very solid goals.
to hook up with another
Exactly.
counselor.
And they're
I
primal,
don't think
and
it would work
everybody
in another
understands
show.
them.
Yeah, I don't think
Everybody
it would work in
understands
another show.
those goals.
This
If
is
you look
true.
at when we were talking about another period, their goal was to become, taken
Rich
out
and
in
famous.
society and become famous. That's not as primal a goal as a coming of age goal. Like, I got to get that girl to talk to me.
Yeah,
or
but that's much
have
harder
my
to
first-
sustain
No, but
over a
it's
series, and that's
two
what I was
different-
concerned over.
She's right. It's two different things, though. We've set up. This is a world we all know, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Summer camp. If you do a comedy and set it up, I don't know, in the White House, you got that world. I feel another period was creating a new world. There wasn't. Remember how he said it's a little bit of Cribs, but a little bit of a period piece, a little bit of Downton Abbey. They're still trying to figure out their world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus Wet Hot, whereas you've got summer camp. And you've got all those tropes already laid out in other movies for you to enhance or tweak.
And our built-in nostalgia for camp.
True.
We don't have a
just
built-in
childhood in general, not even camp, but
Thank
just
you,
that
yeah.
age. Yeah,
coming
absolutely.
of age. Yeah.
So were we
You
more
know, in-
accepting
in-
of all these characters because they have a better world?
I think it's the age, and they're just all these shallow. Their goals are shallow, and perhaps we relate to it easier because we've all been there. But it's also the tone of the whole of all the comedy. Like, it's just kind of sketch and improv based, so it doesn't have to go deeper for us, maybe.
But I would characterize the tone as silly and a little edgy.
Where's
like
Kara? We need Kara right
I
now.
know we need Kara to characterize the tone.
Moment of silence for Kara.
It's like it's R-rated, but silly. It's like, I'm going to be silly, and touch an R-rated joke, and then I'm going to walk away. And that's a really interesting ratio.
It is,
for comedy.
but it's relatable. That's kind of how we live our lives. you know?
It is.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's not full R-rated Judd Apatow. It's not train wreck comedy, right? Or 40-year-old
Honestly,
version.
I feel like it's not a movie. I didn't see the movie, but I feel like the series is PG-13 because it's implied sexual content, sexual situations, but there's no nudity, and there really isn't any cursing. So it's more like
There
sexual
wasn't in the
situations.
movie either. The movie
very
was
true.
R-rated, but I think more
Why?
for language,
Yeah.
and because saying shit and fuck and stuff like that.
And drug usage, maybe.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, they
Right.
clearly were doing heroin.
There was a heroin scene. Amy Poehler on heroin.
Oh my god! Yes, you need to
There's
watch it
heroin
just for that
and crack?
scene. Yes, all of the above. All of the above.
So Christina, in any camp, every once in a
Don't
while.
sniff after we just talked about drugs.
Sorry.
This is non-drug podcast.
How do you think I get up in the morning without coffee? God damn it!
Raw bad timing, my friend. There's no drugs hurt or harmed on this podcast.
We're gonna make Melissa feel worse. You know that at camp there's the thing where you go to town. You take the trip to town.
That's a
Yes,
thing. So that is
yes.
a thing at camp.
It's a
you
thing
take-
because
it's either
there's always
town
a small
or like
town
dune or
nearby.
camp thing. Yeah, you take a day trip.
Ah,
You take a day trip nearby, and so on one of
sounds
the
like
day
a
trips,
cult. Go on.
the counselors take a day trip in the movie,
Oh, the movie, yeah,
and
yeah.
they the first guy they meet is a coke dealer. And he's got a huge thing of coke.
And he just hands it over.
And he just hands it over. They start sniffing it. Next, they go from coke to heroin.
In this dumpy hotel. It's like a murder scene.
They just did this montage of becoming drug addicts.
Yes.
A montage that would have probably been over weeks or months. And they're all strung out. And Amy Poehler's like got a needle in her arm. It's insane.
It's so
and then
great.
Then they cut back to the truck returning to camp, and the guy is like, "Wow!"
It's a matter of hours, literally.
He says, "Wow, you really get lost in that town in just an hour."
Oh my god!
So I love the way that they, that Wet Hot, the movie and the TV series plays with time is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playing with the
wait, if it's 8 episodes and it's the first day, because you think the sun up to sundown is about 8 hours. This is like a 24 kind of sequencing then, if you think about it.
Let's see. Yeah, you're right. It's an 8 hour. It's only 8 episodes. Wet Hot. Interesting.
And it ends at sundown.
And they're half an hour. They're half an hour.
They're almost on that hour.
That's not 24. That's 4 hours. That's just 4 hours of story.
That's crazy.
Wow. So that's how they were able to get back all these actors. They got it done. I mean, that's like shooting 2 features. That's not a huge deal, but they are cramming a lot in. I will say that I don't like the realistic portrayal of the kids in the TV series. I think one of the best things about the movie was the heightened reality where the kids are smarter than the adults.
Absolutely.
Taking care of the adults and having affairs with the adults at the end.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Wow.
I do.
Stifler's mom-ish.
Yeah, Molly Shannon is like gets married to like one of the campers.
Well, I don't remember it in 8, but she has someone by the end of 8.
Oh
yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I thought that was missed. I hope they bring that back.
I did feel that.
So wait, what do you think of the kids in the TV show? Because that's what I've seen. I think they're like little snarky little twerps.
It's goofy.
Not as heightened. Yeah, it's definitely not as heightened.
That's
the movie.
who.
Like the mean boy.
Are they trying to do? To do an ABC Family show?
Yep.
Like, who cares? About the. You can have that coming of age homage to Meatballs, right? With Showalter's character and the kid.
Yeah.
And they're
but Showalter still needs to be inept and still needs to.
I think they did that for.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I think they did that for a lot of reasons though, because we needed that kid to kind of be that new person in the world to lead us through it, and Showalter to be his mentor. So I think they needed that to enter us into the world.
That's fine, but I was hoping, and actually, what reminded me of this is, I thought it would be more like a Rushmore thing, where
and he's in it.
right. That's what reminded me of it was Jason Schwartzman being in it. I was like, that kid should just be Rushmore, like.
Okay.
And the camp and the counselor should be totally inept, and the kid should be so good at getting the girl, or the girl should be totally like a Wes Anderson girl. Remember?
Is it like Tracy Flick from Election, where they like that kind of super smart? You remember Election?
No. They were speaking as adults.
Yeah, they were solving their problems. Yeah, they were more mature.
The scene I remember is Molly Shannon is crying over her husband leaving her, and the little camper goes, hey, come here. It's gonna be okay.
Oh wow.
And he imparts his wisdom.
It's gonna be okay. I want to hear you say it's gonna be okay. We've all been there. And he starts massaging her. He starts massaging her, and he's like a camper.
Ew.
It's hysterical. And then they get hits at the end of the movie. So that was one thing that they dropped was that Molly Shannon's husband shows up at the end of Wet Hot American Summer, the movie, and she tells him off, and it's some dude.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the series, they change it so that she's engaged to Christopher Maloney's character, the cook. Oh, did you notice that?
I haven't gotten that far.
No, it's episode 1. Maybe no. I think
No.
Molly
Maybe
Shannon
it's
wasn't
episode
I
even
two.
haven't seen
Must
him
be
yet.
two.
I think he
Yeah.
must be 2.
Okay, it's in 2. Okay, so Christopher Maloney is in the show, and he's not insane yet.
Oh,
What?
He's normal.
He will be.
Yes, he's not
Oh,
insane
for
yet.
sure.
He's
I thought
engaged.
he was just like perpetually insane. I didn't.
He's,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
ins-
yeah,
he-
so did
no,
I.
he's a lot. He's like a nice dude, and he's got a straight haircut. He's a lot like Bradley Cooper's character.
Okay.
So, but they're setting it up for him to lose his shit.
Interesting.
Which is using the mythology. I mean, this is how you use a prequel. Somebody needed to tell George Lucas, this is how you use a prequel. Use your established timeline to create a whole bunch of insane lead-ups to it that we never expected.
Yep.
The other one is
But his. You'll like him in 8. The Maloney's Resolve. He's
Okay.
hilarious.
you keep talking about 8. 8's the last episode. You watched the last episode of 8. Maybe that is
And I was
appropriate.
fulfilled. I was
It might,
fulfilled.
Yeah.
Christina.
Okay.
It might be appropriate for this series
It
for you
actually-
to
I
have
think it
watched the last
works.
episode.
To understand the movie, yeah. But going off of what you were saying, David, about it kind of representing or resembling too much of like a typical camp, I really wanted more Janine Garofalo. I really missed her character from the movie, because in the movie, her kind of like neurosis, or like not even her kind of desire to keep everyone's shit together, I think kind of drove the movie, and now she kind of was not in the forefront.
She was the A plot. She gave
Yeah.
she gave
I
an
miss her
abstract
being the A plot.
comedy a spine. Yes.
Yeah.
She was cohesion, but she wasn't as interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
wanted her
but
more.
then she
Yeah.
has the love affair with David Hyde Pierce, which
Which
was
I didn't
hysterical.
Yeah.
Is
I
he
wanted her
coming
more.
back?
Yeah.
Is he coming back?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Looking forward to it. He's a successful director on Broadway now.
And a
What?
performer on
Yeah.
Broadway.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I have a long love affair with Janine Garofalo.
She's wonderful.
I'm still taken with her. She's like one of my celebrity crushes forever.
But she's so good.
Aw.
I'm just
Yeah.
bummed out that like you only get pieces of her. and
You have to
get
see
a
the
lot of-
movie. Yeah.
But I mean, even so far in the show, I mean, she feels like she's the glue, but I'm not. Her comedy, her wit, her bite.
It's not there. Mhm.
Not as
Guys,
much
I want to
as some other
focus.
ones.
Can we take a little analytical focus here?
Yep.
And talk about, given a movie, what the creators did to create the series. Okay, Melissa? How did they go about successfully or unsuccessfully deciding to adapt this film to a TV series? What do you think their process was, and how
Okay.
would you have done it?
Their process probably was, I would assume, outlining the plots of the movie, the main plots, and then giving them more backstory. I think it's an understanding the characters more and literally working backwards. It's, honestly, that's a great question. I would say it's through character development, like what
Because
did they
could have
accomplish from the movie? What did
They
they
could have
want?
done the next summer.
I think that I honestly think they did a very smart and savvy cable way, which is to say, hey, we're only going to get a limited number of episodes. So how can we encapsulate this to one fulfilled object, which
Yeah.
is the first day of summer?
We're not going to get all these actors
Exactly.
in
It's not just
again.
the summer camp. There's no, it's loose ends, lost, we don't know what happened. No,
Oh,
the first
okay.
day. If it sells, we could always do the second day or the
What
What
you're
you're
first
saying
week.
is we
Yep.
can't build a lot of serial story into the series.
until
Yeah.
we see if it bites.
All we can do is a bunch of really interesting
Yeah.
short stories and sketches,
Within
essentially.
one premise or one day.
But as Melissa said, starting with all of the characters that we've established, because each of them, one of the things that makes Wet Hot American Summer a classic, a cult classic, is each character is insanely original and funny in a different way. And so you've got those characters. We can't serialize this too much, let's just come up with some ridiculous stuff for each of them to go through, given that this is a prequel.
Yeah, I think we lose a lot of its essence if we did the following camp or whatnot. It's more about this very short time lapse and who they are in this moment, not who they are long term.
Because the film is the last day.
agree.
The film is one day.
Absolutely.
So the film was the last day. That's so smart. You think they
Yes.
would
Right?
totally pull on that to make this the first day?
Yeah.
And if it goes nowhere, at least they have those 2 days. Great
Yep, that's
set
it.
pieces. That's
You
brilliant.
can and you can always do a middle day, right?
At the end of first term, anything, but you totally you set up your structure too. So if you want to sell this, you could say we could sell it in days. This is how we block it off. We block it off
Absolutely.
this way for
But this
feature
is-
length,
this is a
and it can be
project
done
that involves-
in so smart. They
Right.
basically they if I'm looking at this as a studio. Right now, you can sell that to me as a series. You can sell that to me as a movie for sequels or follow-up sessions.
Spin off any of the
Exactly.
characters into
Yeah,
a
you can really
comedy.
spin off any of the characters or make it like not even a web series, but like just like individual shorts, like more background things and behind the scenes. But
And that
Yeah.
We'll take
goes
Coop and
to
put him on Adult Swim for his own show.
that
Yeah.
goes to the essence of the screenplay of the original Wet Hot American Summer, and and it's still present in the current series, is that it's just a bunch of sketches.
yeah,
It's a bunch. It's all these very talented improvisers, professional improvisers, doing a bunch of different sketches in a camp setting,
yep.
and the surreal time lapse thing, and the surreal suspension of disbelief lets us jump from sketch to sketch like it's connected.
Yeah, and also speaking like in terms of the producers or the studio, it must have been so incredibly cheap if you think about it for it to take place just within this like little camp. They don't they don't physically go anywhere, but yet so much happens within it. It's all driven by the characters, so it must be must have been so nice to produce.
The biggest problem it would be getting people, and I'm sure all these actors worked for scale. You know, I'm sure their love for the artists, for Wain and Showalter is what brought them all back. I don't think there's anyone who wasn't brought back. Like, did you? I mean,
The only one was, I think, Appleblatt, the nerd, the like nerdy kid in the beginning that Coop helps, who ends up being like the
But he
right.
got
Is that him or
replaced.
no? Oh, he did.
he got replaced. None of the kids can come back because they're aged, right?
Yeah.
They'll be adults.
I also think it was genius to do a prequel because it's even more funny that now they're older and are now playing younger characters.
Well, that's a
You know.
first joke, okay, and
Yeah.
that joke's funny, but it's only going to be funny for about an episode.
And it's
Right,
funny
that's-
to you guys that have seen it because I kind of this was my just not having seen the movie. I was like, okay, is it just because they're all comedians that have worked together because they all look really old to be playing these characters?
No, the
so I
Eugene-
didn't get that joke because I didn't see
okay.
the movie.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but it came in another form. It was a joke in another form for you. It's like, oh, okay, you're gonna stick all these people in a camp. It's like a big camp.
Yeah,
sketch.
well, I thought it was just like one of the writers' wet dreams. Like, hey, you're my friends. Let's just play this. I didn't think it was funny.
And
I thought
that's
it
what
obnoxious,
it
like, 'cause
was
I've got
in
tons of friends, I've got all the
2001.
comedian friends,
That's what it was. It was all their friends,
but they were younger.
and they were younger, and they hadn't.
All these cats
They
are
didn't have
pushing
success
50
yet.
ish.
Yeah.
Late 40s into 50-ish now. So now it seems a little creepster.
It's hysterical.
Yeah.
And that is part of the camp,
Surrealism,
the
too.
camp genre movie tradition, which is it's a little sexually charged. It's a little
You keep going
inappropriate.
back to sexually charged.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it
what is
is.
this,
It's
green
inappropriate.
slips?
No,
Like,
but like,
even
okay.
even meatballs,
Yeah,
even
but
meatballs
the
is
oldest guy,
inappropriate.
the dude whose bed was floating in the water. He was the oldest of the counselors.
I'm
he
not
was
talking about the age.
I wanna
I'm just
say,
talking about-
early 40s, late 30s. Because all of them were somewhere. We know in real life they were all somewhere in their early 30s or late 20s as actors. So it's weird seeing this bunch that are tipping 50 and playing the 30-somethings.
Okay.
I think it's all
And Christina-
suspension of disbelief, though. Like, or
Christina,
suspension of
that's
belief.
part of this surreal comedy
Yeah.
like tone of this entire series and the show. If you watch the original show, they're young enough to be counselors, but surreal shit is happening all the time. So the
Are you
age
guys
thing,
justifying that because you love them?
No, I mean, I'm just saying that if you see the movie, I mean, we should stop talking about that. But like, the age thing is just another surrealism, suspension of disbelief that we don't care about. That we go, not that we don't care about, that we concede. We concede. You know,
fancy words. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of the other camp movies from the 80s. Christina, other than Meatballs, let me see. I mean, there was like 3 Meatballs plus a fourth fake one.
There was not a sequel to Meatballs.
There was 3 of them, girl.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad actually, you're saying Meatballs 4. I'm glad I saw nothing but the original.
There was a Michael J. Fox movie called Poison Ivy.
No.
Yeah, with Joe from Facts of Life.
No way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have none of that. No, thank you.
Let's see. Is Meatballs it then? Are we just referring? Is this entirely referring to Meatballs?
Okay, let's just say style of comedy, and it kind of leads back to, in my mind, Bill Murray. Kind of like Stripes, Caddyshack, Cannonball Run, Meatball.
Yeah, okay.
That
Vacation.
kind of genre of kind of smart ass,
the original.
like them, smart ass, good natured people.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Actually, did you guys see The Way Back?
No. I wanted to.
The Way Back is a modern coming of age story. It's very much like a camp movie. It's a boy and his mother and the boyfriend, played by Steve Carell, who plays an asshole, go to a summer house. That's another variation on this summer coming of age story, is the summer house, going to the beach, right? There's a bunch of movies like that.
That's true. Or coming of age, Porky's is another good one for coming of age. But
talk about R-rated, right?
That's
Porky's was at the height of the R-rated coming of age movies, and that was like high school kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were all in high school.
Porky's was like high school kids. Portraying high school kids with nudity and sex. It was insane.
Again, it was a very base plot, which is this group of high school boys wants to get into a titty joint, and it's been the whole movie trying to get into Porky's, that titty joint.
Yep.
Wow.
Melissa, Porky's is a classic. Porky's is a classic.
That's where we get this return to the affectionate return to the peephole. After peeping Tom back in the 60s, we returned to the peephole and Porky's for the shower scene of the girls' locker room.
Oh, God.
I love that. That's that's like a thesis. The return to the peephole.
The only like semi-camp movie I had growing up was like The Parent Trap, the first half of Lindsay Lohan. Like that's the only somewhat camp movie.
Somewhat campy.
I could think of somewhat
I forgot
camp.
about that. That was awesome, though.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
There was a bunch of. I saw this. I'm googling it right now.
So my camp movies.
Camp Cucamonga. Did you ever see that?
No.
No.
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston's in it.
What?
The chick from
Sleepaway Camp, again a horror.
Yeah.
Camp Cucamonga. I see. No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, no, the chick from the Wonder Years was in it. Jaleel White was in it.
Oh my God.
A bunch of 80s, or late 80s, early 90s like hits. And there's like a musical element to it. What a crazy...
Oh, gosh.
Camp is a thing.
Little Darlings with Tatum O'Neal and Kristen McNichol. Yeah, you're right.
So let's talk...
Revived
let's talk
with
about...
American Pie in the 90s. Or is that the 2000s American Pie revived the whole band camp idea?
Oh, American Pie...
That's
American
true.
Pie is actually a great thing to bring up, just because American Pie brought back the R-rated teen movie.
Yep.
It is linked to Porky's.
Yeah, totally.
It is completely linked to Porky's because the 80s, and I think we bring it back to like we were talking about, like the Reagan era, puritanical influence, taking the R-rated movies out of the teen genre and camp and all these things, taking the R-rated out because we will not associate our children with sex. When American Pie came back, that was followed by old school by a ton of R-rated teen college movies.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we can do this again. We can finally do this again. And now it's a genre. The R-rated comedy is its own comedy genre. And red band trailers and
that's crazy.
We're off to the races.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you Google camp movies and they say movies frequently mentioned on the web. Number 1 is Meatballs. Number 2 is Wet Hot Summer. American Summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
20 years apart.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So let's talk about. We only have a little time left. Let's talk about. I don't know. What should we talk about? What great
work?
about this series?
Did we talk about what didn't work for you guys? I'm curious.
We talked a little bit about what didn't work. I thought the kids not being adult, this heightened reality where adults, because the counselors are taking really good care of the kids in the TV series.
Yeah.
That was part of the hilariousness of the movie. The kids are on their own. The counselors are inept. They're selfish. All they care about is doing their thing. There's one plot where the counselor, what's his name?
Coop.
I think it's Victor, right? Played by Ken Marino. He's got the fro.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is get laid, so he drives the kids up to a river so that they can go to the river, and he leaves them there, and he drives back to camp to get laid, and then they find out the kids get stuck on the water. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Wait,
yeah.
is this the movie?
You see,
that's
the movie. You
It's
have to watch
killing
it.
me.
See, I do agree with David. I thought that the camp is almost a little too realistic, and it seems like they were spoofing camp movies in another way this time. Like, rather than being absurdist and heightened reality, they kind of spoofed the morality of the camp movies, like that scene where Coop is like, you need to stand up for yourself and you have to face your bully and he'll respect you and blah blah blah.
But
and
that's
the kids seem to notice,
that's stock family drama. That's ABC family stuff. Why
so
are we
they were
going there?
spoofing it in a different way, exactly, or they were addressing it in a different way.
I thought that was just lazy. Like, there's so much other awesome abstract comedy going on here.
Yeah. You got too.
Oh, I loved the scene. Did you see the scene? I don't know if you got to the episode with the sludge
at the very end.
No. In I think it might have been episode 2. Jason Schwartzman discovers
No, don't say it.
Jason Schwartzman discovers the pit of toxic waste, and he puts his finger in and he tastes it.
Ew.
And he's like, that's toxic sludge. Yeah, that's toxic sludge. And then Janine Garofalo is with him. She's like, no. And he puts his finger back in again. Yeah, that's toxic sludge. They continue to have a conversation about how the sludge is going to ruin the camp and how the camp director probably sold them out. And over the course, and then he takes out a spoon and takes another. He keeps eating the toxic sludge.
Joke.
And you're like, you know what? Jason Schwartzman wasn't in the original movie. He's not going to be around at the end of this series because he's eating toxic sludge.
I'll tell you, I did see him in episode 8.
He's there still. Interesting.
Wow.
Maybe he'll. Okay, interesting. And the other thing is the original camp director himself, played by H. John Benjamin.
Yep.
Anybody get that reference?
No.
H. John Benjamin is the most successful voice actor in all of animation. He plays Archer, he does King of the Hill, and he played the voice of the can in the original movie. Yes.
What?
He played the voice of the can in the original movie. And so they make him a character in the series. And a couple episodes in, they connect the storylines.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh my god!
That makes so
I'm
much
not gonna say because I'm giving Melissa that.
I know.
I'm giving you that
my
one.
mouth shut too. Yeah.
I do have to say, I like how it really was nice bookends. Like, I think the pilot does really offer a reflection of the movie. Like, the way we start off with the same opening montage around the fire. and then like there's like the voiceover, like "Good morning, campers" and things like that. But it's like a different message each time. I think it's really nice bookends, which I enjoyed. I thought they opened it really well with, I guess it's the camp director's voiceover of Camp Firewood being like an idea and a promise and like a way of life. I thought that was a really great way to open and kind of set the tone for the season. I don't know. I liked it.
You just never went to camp. You just want to go to camp, really.
This is true. Maybe I'm just romanticizing it. It's just so.
I think
it sounds awesome.
Also, I wanted to put in, and I'm harping because this is where I'm at, that one of the problems I had was the guy that played Coop, the writer, with the
Showalter.
Yeah, he and Paul Rudd's character. That basically is Bill Murray's character, and that's why kind of Meatballs worked, because Bill Murray was a super cool guy, but super nice to the quiet kid.
He was both. You're saying they split Bill Murray into two characters. Interesting.
Wow.
You're right.
That's where you're missing the cool guy is not really helping anyone, and the sweet guy is not really cool. I don't know.
Huh.
Right. Meatballs is a coming of age drama. It has comedy and drama, okay? Whereas Wet Hot is a parody.
Yep.
It's a comedy. Yeah,
but the thing is that
Paul Rudd is just ridiculous throughout the whole movie.
You're missing that. Like if we compare it even to Spaceballs or Mel Brooks, you're missing that one character that is just the centerpiece. You're missing Bill Murray's character.
They're all
because
archetypes.
you've diluted so many things. And
that I think is something we're seeing again. We talked about it on this podcast before, which is that these ensemble shows that are going to streaming network, you've got to be careful not to dilute the character with a ton of ensemble plot stuff. And yes, we will tune in, and maybe you will deepen it. And I felt already 3 episodes in that they are deepening it.
Oh, great.
Yeah?
Okay.
Cool. I'm only into 2, and I have 8 in my back pocket.
And so the other thing I wanted to bring up was I think that this pilot, again, being a Netflix pilot, breaks all the rules of writing a spec original series if you're trying to get read, if you're trying to sell your show.
This would not sell.
It relies not because it relies on the original movie. Forget about that. It relies on subsequent episodes. The pilot does only, we always like to say in the Screenwriters Collective that a pilot has double duty. You have to introduce the world, the characters, and the series engine, and you have to have a regular episode. You have to have a regular episode of plots and drama and comedy. And this pilot only did half the duty, which is introduce the characters, the world, and the series engine.
And it set up the cliffhanger. Yeah, but it was just too much. Exactly, like really at the last second. You remember? So that was my thing. If I looked at the script by itself, I feel like what they set out to do, they wanted to. What they wanted to do is homage to people that saw the movie, throw in all the people, so like, oh yeah, he's in, oh, he's back too. Give all of you regulars that happy moment and then we're going to jump into the sludge situation that's coming. That they did correctly. But if you have no knowledge of the other movie, you're not going to like this. You're going to be disappointed. It's not fulfilling in a single episode to keep me going. I'm just like, this is all over the place. They want to be Meatballs. They're not successful. I don't know the movie. I'm done.
Yes, and you're not the only person who's going to go to Netflix and watch this TV series without having seen the movie, without anything, without any backup.
Yeah.
You are a person... There's other people out there like that.
We see Amy Poehler, we see Bradley Cooper. So we're seeing the stars excited, but we don't have what you guys
Show me what you got in the pilot. And this pilot doesn't do that. But I gotta say, you might be able to watch the whole series without seeing the movie and get a lot out of it.
But if you had to be willing to hang on. I feel like the
marketing
people should have been like...
None of these Netflix series... give you that pilot with the punch the way the networks do.
Yeah, but they needed to.
We
in their
keep
marketing,
seeing it
let me know
over
there
and
was a
over
movie.
again.
Like, it wasn't until like literally this morning that I knew there was a movie. If somewhere in the marketing clip they had said, based on the movie, or you remember these characters from, that way I would have been like, okay, I'm missing an inside joke. Let me run and see the movie, and I might have, you know what I mean? Like, okay, let's say the movie didn't exist. What would you guys have thought about this stuff right now? You never saw this movie. The movie didn't exist. All that backstory you don't have. What would you think about what you saw?
You can't unwatch it, right? You can't. I mean, richness of the characters. At least half of the jokes in the series are homages or payoffs from setups in the film. So they are.
Unless you want it to be an
connected.
inside club, you need to put something in the messaging. Unless you want this to be an inside club.
Yeah.
Let's
Even at the beginning, at the cold opening, you could have alluded to, you guys remember the last day? Well, here's the first day. Allude to it so it's not an inside.
Netflix should have done a job of telling you, there's a movie before this. Guys, let's just do last thoughts. Best thing, biggest strength, biggest weakness of the TV series itself.
Oh, God.
I will begin.
Okay.
While you think. I think the strength of the writing here is the continuation of this world, surreal world, in a very familiar place, the camp genre. Series of sketches, a series of very original characters with comedic voices that are unique, that are fertile for tons of good short form comedy, and slapping together a bunch of short form comedy. It's not a sketch show, but it almost is. It's a sketch show that's strung together by a camp, and I think that works. And I think Showalter and Wain's brand of type of comedy still works today, because it's not just silly. I think the state, one of the problems with the state back in the day was that it was just silly, and they thought that was enough. Mm-hmm. But this brand is it's silly with a touch of R-rated edge, and those two together, I think, are magic. I would say again the weakness of the series. I don't know why they're making the kids normal. I love the heightened reality of the kids. I'm sure a network executive doesn't get that and doesn't think that's funny, and maybe that was a note they got, or maybe it was the creator's choice, but that's not working for me. Having the counselors doing their jobs responsibly, what's up with that? The original movie is full of the counselors, especially because it's the last day. Maybe it's because it's the last day, just not giving a shit about their jobs. It would be, over the course, you could say that that's not allowed since it's the first day and the entire series takes place on the first day, but that would make it even more funny. I don't know. But I was very impressed after the pilot. Episode 2 had me laughing out loud. Episode 1 was, I can't believe they're ruining this cult classic. That's what I feel.
Wow.
And then episode 2, episode 3, I was like, now the mythology is expanding.
Wow.
They are expanding. They're doing great things with this thing. Yeah. And I think maybe they felt pressure to set up the show in the pilot. And that's all they did was set up the show. They didn't hook us at all. But episode 2, episode 3 got me.
What I liked about it was I felt like the writing really captured 80s adolescence and the nuance of after school special and that awkwardness, kind of the funniness within the awkwardness. And I felt like the actors, their timing was so on point that they knew it. We've all seen these. You could tell they've seen all of these after school specials, Meatballs, Porky's, and they knew how to play on the tropes of, let's both lose our virginities. Oh no, I've lost it a million times, but it's my million times to your one when they're both virgin. That the way they play that, the timing, their connection as actors and comedians are amazing. What I didn't like, and this we haven't really tapped on it, but it's my own thing, is I wish there had been, and we kind of mentioned it with Guardians of the Galaxy, I wish there had been less stars. I guess it's already built into the movie, but having so many big stars kind of made it overhyped. So I was a little let down, and I hadn't seen the other one. I felt like if you had a few more really strong comedic actors that were no-named, I would have kind of just really gone after getting to know the story. But I'm so busy looking at Bradley Cooper and Amy Poehler.
Some of these actors are still no-names, but that's not their fault.
Well, no, but there's a good portion of it's just too
and
big,
their career.
You know? But we talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, like, could have totally had that chance to be like a Rocky Horror or a cult classic that just blew up like super deep on the low end. But it was so hyped that some people were just like, I didn't like it because I was underwhelmed for expectations, and that's the way I felt about this. I saw Janine Garofalo, David Hyde Pierce, Bradley Cooper, Amy Poehler, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be the most, blow my mind. I didn't know about the movie, so I saw these kind of static characters doing this shtick, and I was kind of like, why did they hype it so much? Because I didn't know the movie, you know. So that was, I don't know if it's. Again, I go back to the marketing team having introduced it as, you know, if you've seen or you remember what happened on the last day, this is the first day, or some type of setup to bring me into it.
What I didn't like, luckily you guys have told me is not the case, but I was really missing the surrealism, absurdist humor. I thought that was a little lost in the pilot. I did think it was a little bit too much of a realistic depiction of a camp, but I'm really glad to hear that they bring back the surrealism and whatnot with episode 2. And it's kind of understandable because, again, with the pilot, as we were saying, you have to set up so much in a pilot, so maybe there wasn't space for that surrealism. We really had to get to like the main things, like the characters, who they were and what the plots were. And going off of that was the thing I really liked. I think for people who've never seen the movie and for people who have seen the movie, they did an amazing job at introducing all of the characters and all of these plots and like how they were all related and who wanted who and who wanted what.
That is a tall order. You make a good point. It is a tall order, and you know, another period did that also. But frankly, so continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, and also,
but it's not enough for a traditional pilot.
No, absolutely. If it were a traditional pilot, we would have needed much more from the characters, but I think it worked in this, considering the tone and the movie. But also, I also think that, you know, the movie was a cult classic. They had all the freedom they wanted. They funded it themselves. They could do whatever the hell they wanted. But then with Netflix, obviously now Netflix wants more of like a traditional structure to a pilot or wanted certain things. So I think it was a nice blend of their kind of cult classic humor and tone with Netflix.
Going in the opposite direction. Anyone see Serenity after watching the series Firefly? Joss Whedon?
No.
Okay.
Totally did.
Serenity did a feature film after the series, and Joss Whedon, being a genius that he is, he spent the first 15 minutes, the first act of the film, treating it like you'd never seen the show.
Yeah, he introduced and explained everything.
He did.
You're right.
But then, after Act 1 and the break into 2, we're back into a supersized episode of Firefly.
So true.
So he was able to do a really great.
About your hooker, your preacher,
he was able to bring in the new audience and bring the old audience back very well, very
totally
elegantly.
It. Exactly. But that's a reverse though, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's still about getting an old audience into the new medium.
Yeah, no, it's about getting the new audience on the same wavelength.
Yes, getting the older audience into the right. So the audience, you're right. The older audience was there. It's about getting the new audience in without boring the shit.
Yeah,
did you just say the nude audience?
You need to go back to camp, David.
Our representative. A representative from Burning Man speaks again.
Whatever.
Christina is our representative from Burning Man.
All day. Don't even try it. It's about getting our nude audience into wet, hot American summer.
For everyone listening, we're all nude right now, actually.
I think that's it. I think that's going on top, guys. This is the Script Podcast, produced by Jordan Rosengarten, David Negrin. You can email us, fan mail us, hate mail us, comments, questions, marriage proposals to scriptfeed@gmail.com. Join our Facebook page, our Google Plus page by searching for NYC Screenwriters Collective. You can follow us on Twitter @scriptfeed. If you live in New York City, sign up for our workshops at meetup.com under NYC Screenwriters. Please support The Script over at patreon.com/thescript.